Billy Moore, FaceTiming from his veranda. There he is. Beautiful shot, lovely blue sky.
Paradise.
Is that just a hint of water in the background or not? Are we on the coast thereabouts, Billy?
That's it. That's Alexandra Headlands, boys. Sunshine Coast. Paradise in the background. Weather's great. Unfortunately, there's not many people around to enjoy it.
I'm going to throw this question straight at you because we've just put it out there. Fletcher's put it out there. If we only have time for Origin, will that do? That we just have an Origin series this year?
Yes, if that's all we're going to get. Because obviously, if we've got 3-week window, you can't play a premiership season. So if all we get is 3 games of Origin, let me tell you, those beloved Queensland fans and New South Wales, they'd be more than happy with that. However you play it, don't really care. But another possibility for mine, it's the 40th year of Origin. If you remember back in 1980, they only played 1 game. So ideally, if we have a season which starts, I think hopefully August 1, we can have a round each of the premiership where everyone plays each other. So that's 14 weeks. You'd have your semi-finals and your grand final. If that means only playing 1 Origin, just like we did 40 years prior, then that would be enough for me. But ideally, I'd love to have 3 games.
Billy, it's Cooper Cronk here. Obviously, we're here in Sydney, and it's delicate times everywhere at the moment. But let's talk Rugby League Central here. Yep. How is Queensland coping without any rugby league? Is there any talk amongst friends, family about what's going to happen? What's the entertainment going to be on a Friday night?
Yeah, well, we desperately missed, obviously, last week we had a dose of it, and honestly, just for the mental health of people, it was some release, something to focus on, something to talk about. The old water fountain conversation reigned supreme during the course of the weekend, and it gave a distraction. So I understand they can't play, but for everyone up here, obviously this weekend will be the first without it, and we're going to have to adjust because, like south of the border, rugby league flows through the hearts of Queensland and New South Wales. So we do miss it, and what we're hoping is that sometime, hopefully 3 months, 4 months from now, we can start the 2020 season. And I love the idea of playing on the December 20, just before Christmas. What a great way to have a Christmas present for a grand final for all those that follow rugby league.
Now, Billy, how's your restaurant going? Are you doing takeaways, or how are you coping up there?
Very good question, my friend. Well, on Monday, this is the reality, I stood down 35 staff. Wow. And we do takeaways now, but only to skeleton staff, and we're just doing it from 5 till 7:30, 7 days a week, and we're going to do that until we're told to close. And the interesting thing I think about rugby league and the negotiations now that are happening with the Players Association for wages, in my restaurant, the staff currently are either getting paid 0 or probably maximum 20% of what they had a week ago or earning a week ago. So for me, the reality of, especially for the players, they must understand that I think anything less than a 75% wage cut is living in fairyland. Rugby league must now consider this. It's not how much money we've got in the bank right now. It's how much money we're going to have in the bank 6 months from now when the game starts again. We need to have enough capital behind us to rev the game up. And the players' wages will bounce back very quickly. But they must realise their duty of care is not only to themselves and their family, but it's to the fans in the game. We must make sure that however many months it is down the track from now, that our game is in the best health. And I mean severe wage cuts, knowing they're going to get it back. It will come back, but now is all about the game.
That's a
very good point.
A great reality check there, Billy. Because at least with the rugby league players, and I'm not having a crack at them by any stretch, but there's going to be some money there for the rugby league players. But in the case of you, Billy, you just had to put your staff off. I've heard, restaurant owners shut their doors and the staff go without a cent.
Correct. 85% of my staff did exactly that. Are doing that right now, Bossy, right today. They've lined up at Centrelink. And rugby league players are no different when you look at the practicality. If they have issues with their mortgage, they can be like the hospitality workforce out there, other people that have been affected. They can take an amnesty with their mortgage, with their banks for 3 to 6 months like all the rest of us. I'm doing it. So the reality is we don't live in fairyland. We live in reality. And we must make sure, as I said, we have the game's best interest at heart. And I do believe it's now time for the players and the clubs to show that. And the business model that we operated on, January 1 of 2020, will not be or should not be the business model we operate on in 2021. It's a fool's paradise. Now, game needs to adjust where we think we can pay people.
Yeah, look, and just on another one, because this was a story that was happening before all of this overtook everything, every part of our lives. We were talking about expansion. It seemed like it was almost a certainty that it was going to be a 17th club come 2023, and we're talking about Queensland and probably closer to where you are now than the centre of Brisbane. What's your thoughts? Do we now have to? Do we start with a blank canvas on what teams we want to have the competition look like? Do we put expansion again on hold? What's your thoughts there, Billy?
I think market reality, Vossi, will dictate that. We'll see who comes out the other end of this. And as I said, what we had January 2020, I don't think we'll have January 2021. Things will be different. The world's going to be different. The landscape will change. And it'll be about the strength of your business model and how it evolves over the next 6 to 8 months. And there will be certain clubs who will really struggle to come off the canvas. And I hope they all do. But the talk of expansion now, as you said, was a fait accompli, I thought as well, only a month ago, now looks seriously in jeopardy. Where that might change, though, 16 clubs, actually where those 16 clubs are, it might change. The footprint might vary, because I do still believe when the game starts again, and it will, just like my restaurant will, just like all these businesses will start again, we'll have to look for a very strong business model. And I do believe another team in southeast Queensland, especially Brisbane, is a good, sound business decision.
And has to be a team starting from scratch, or with this current situation, should some of the clubs that hit financial strife, should they be contemplating relocation? Would relocation be accepted in the southeast pocket of Queensland, or does it have to be its own entity?
That's another great question. I always thought it had to be a brand new entity for Queenslanders to absorb it, but that may change. And from my comments to the Sydney clubs, having been a Bear and seeing now that we don't play, I wouldn't care if they told me to go to Timbuktu. I would much prefer to see my club alive and well, my colours and my emblem out there being played. And if it means I move from Sydney to Brisbane for that to happen, well, I think that's the duty of care for the officers inside that club's executive to make, because their duty is to their fans. And if it means survival or not, you'll do what you need to survive. So if they have to move, they move.
All right, Billy Moore, thank you for your time. You've made some great points here, and I'm so sorry that you, like so many other business owners, have had to go through what you've had to do this week. I'm pretty sure you're absolutely torn by it and terribly distressing.
Yeah, it is, Bozzy, but as I said, we know we'll come to the end of it, and it's about not your strength now, it's what it's going to be like in 6 months' time when we come to the other end.
All right, Billy,
when
our viewers get up there, where have they got to get to eventually when the borders open again? Where are we eating on the Sunshine Coast?
You're rushing to Mooloolaba or Jello's Pizzeria. Promise me, I'll promise you this. I promise I won't cook. You'll enjoy it. You'll be safe. A beautiful view over the ocean. See you soon, boys.
Good on you, Billy.